What we've been experiencing all throughout COVID and quarantine is just that like things have to change so rapidly, and really allowing the HR community to support one another and share best practices and tactics, which has been incredible.
And I actually think it's shown that we can be just as effective, and if not like faster, kind of using technology slightly differently or things like that we probably wouldn't have thought of had we not gotten thrown into this crazy circumstance in the first place.
Putting as much process as possible into pulse checks, adjusting, recalibrating, etc. And so our central focus, if I were to summarize it into one word, is just communication. All the time, communication.
Advice for new hires starting during this time is just to ask questions. We're not in the same situation where you're going to be in an office and you're going to be able to pull someone aside.
It's over communicate. It's just kind of really outlining exactly what the steps are, kind of how everything's going to work, and just making them feel as comfortable as possible.
And I would say though, if you're starting a new job, my advice would be like, just be a little bit patient, be a little bit lenient, understand that like everybody's experiencing this for the first time, and it's perfectly okay. Like I would love for any of my new hires to come with me to share how their experience was, but also provide some solutions.
For those who have been fortunate enough to continue working through this, there can be challenges when, you're not necessarily used to working remotely, or you don't do it that often. Making sure that, again, everyone has the physical resources that they need. A lot of these fully remote companies, tech companies in particular, are very good at sort of setting you up with battle stations. I wish I could, wave a magic wand and have everybody have fantastic Wi-Fi all the time, and all those sorts of things that just make you feel good about working during the day.
I probably would want to wave a magic wand to just eliminate any sort of like anxiousness, stress, frustration, sadness that anybody's feeling during this time, because I know it's a lot to handle, and a lot of it has to do with all of that uncertainty. So we've just been trying to spend as much time as possible really being empathetic, as you mentioned, Greg, and just really coaching our managers on how to be able to have those conversations and dig a little bit deeper and support, and know that employees have like a safe space to be able to come and talk if they need it, and feel like they're just that we're trying to be as inclusive as possible, and also feel like even if there is all of this craziness and uncertainty in the world, at least their relationship with Built-in and their coworkers is as solid and predictable as possible.
Making sure that also employees are taking time for themselves during the day, because it can be such a struggle, and it's so easy to just blend work and life, and not have any clear lines distinguishing between the two.
As a recruiter, you have the opportunity literally in every conversation to change someone's life. Like, don't take that for granted. Like, recognize that even during these times of like, if candidates are stressful, if you're stressed because hiring slowed down, like just recognize that it's such an incredible power that you have as recruiters, really genuinely to change someone's life. And that should be what drives you in many of these conversations, and to just keep that in mind.
Providing that space for people to be able to share their anxiety, concern, listen. Not only will that probably attract that person to want to come work at your company more, but it also allows you to sort of hear and think about what they're actually going through. And if you do hire them, you kind of know what to expect and how you can help support them more effectively. So I think it's even just as simple as like providing the time and space and listening where you can.
Making sure that you are overly communicating as much as possible, and just leaving that space for questions, and just having like a lot of patience with candidates, like asking questions equally back to them around how they're feeling, is going to be really important.